How's it going? It is all the news all the time. Yes, it is. And my name is Adam. It is lovely to have you back watching these videos. Interesting story coming out over the last few days about Andrew Tate. And I didn't know who the guy was until a few days ago. So I've been doing a lot of research, looking into it, trying to work out what my position on Andrew Tate is and what he stands for and what is actually going on. And I've come to the conclusion, rightly or wrongly, that he is right. Andrew Tate is actually correct. So let's have a little look before you start shouting at the TV screen and throwing things and calling me names. Let's have a little look, shall we? Why not? So this is from The Sun, and we've got the Tate's Angels. Why not indeed? Andrew Tate's model girlfriend, 28, and ex-police worker. They keep saying police worker, not police woman. By that I mean I don't think she's a police woman or a police officer. I think she worked in some way for the police. But anyway, this is getting off the topic. So she's 28, she's 32. They're pictured after they were held in sex trafficking swoop, it seems. This is coming from Olivia Burke a few days ago. Two of Andrew Tate's glamorous alleged accomplices have been pictured after they were arrested amid a sex trafficking swoop. And she's very pretty as well. The disgraced influencer, is he disgraced or is this just an allegation? And his brother Tristan were detained on Thursday after their luxury Romanian mansion was raided by police. There he is, looking quite nice in his jacket, and they're dressed up like he's some sort of Colombian drug lord. And his rumoured girlfriend Georgiana Nagel has also been hauled in by the cops. And yeah, she's nice. Police worker turned cam girl Luana Radu was also nicked in the raid. I quite like these. Their alleged right hand women were also hauled into custody after being accused of enslaving Romanian and Moldovan women in order to make sex films, as well as trafficking women to the UK and US for wealthy clients. Tate's reported girlfriend Georgiana Nagel was taken to the cells after the dramatic raid in the town of Voluntari. The stunning model, who is an American citizen, is believed to have been dating the one-time Big Brother contestant for nearly a year. She was handcuffed alongside former sub-inspector, she may well be a police officer then, in the Romanian police turned cam girl Luana Radu. So obviously it pays a lot better. Yeah. It seems to pay a lot better than being in the police. The 32-year-old previously worked at a police station in central Bucharest before ditching her job to join the adult industry. Yeah, there's a lot more money to be made in that because a lot more people are interested in it. So, yeah, so why am I saying I think he's right? Why am I not saying, oh, he's an evil terrorist person who's enslaving women, he's a pimp, he's this, he's that, he's the other? Well, I've been looking into his stuff, and this is one of his videos.
Try hard enough to obtain it, because I actually...
If I go back a bit.
The people who are miserable are the people who don't try hard enough to obtain it, because I actually believe, and this is another thing I'll say, I believe the universe is very giving. I think the universe and God himself is very giving. I've yet to meet somebody in all my years who is genuinely giving 100% of themselves day after day, doesn't snake anyone, firm handshake, look you in the eye, doesn't lie to nobody, and tries 100%, doesn't get what they want. I've never seen it. Every single person who doesn't have what they want, there's something in their story that doesn't quite add up.
He seems to be very motivational. He's talking to a group or a whole society of young boys and men who are looking for guidance. They're looking for some direction. They're sitting at home in their bedrooms playing Call of Duty on the video game and thinking to themselves, is this it? Am I just going to be sitting here playing video games the rest of my life? And then Andrew Tate comes along and says, if you want something, if you want to make something happen, if you want to be wealthy, if you want a really attractive girlfriend, wife, if you want a big, fast car, you want a beautiful house, you've got to get off your ass and make it happen. You've got to do it, because it's not going to come and knock on the door and give you £1 million. Claudia Schiffer or whoever's the prettiest girl is not going to turn up and knock on your front door and say, be my girlfriend. You've got to go out and make it happen. And that is a very attractive and very sensible and very motivational thing to tell young boys and men, because it makes a lot of sense. Plus, as you can see, possibly he's got the evidence of his convictions. He's got beautiful girlfriends. He's got a £600,000 house. He's got millions of dollars. He's proved the concept works. If you go out and try hard at absolutely everything you do, then you will do well. I mean, it's hard not to. Because what is happening at the moment is there is a disconnect between men and women. And as we can see in this article from the far left newspaper, The Guardian, they're saying there's a rise in global incel culture, which they're worried could provoke terrorism. There seems to be a build-up of boys and men who are not in relationships. But the same thing is happening to women, because if boys and men are not in relationships, then neither are the women. So more and more men and women are just not interacting with each other. There's loads of reasons behind this, but one of the reasons I would argue is if you tell men to leave you alone enough, they do. And this is a major issue. And if we come to the marriage statistics, this is from the Office of National Statistics in the UK, we can see that total marriages are down 6% in 1 year. This has been going on since 1970, as you can see here from this chart. In the 1970s, the Divorce Reform Act came in, and now marriages have plummeted up from 80 down to around the 20 mark. So men and women are not getting married. They're not being in relationships with each other. If they are in relationships already, they're getting divorced. There is a whole disconnect between men and women. And I was looking at another statistic saying in 2030, 40% of women and men will be single, which is a huge change in our society. What else are we looking at? Boys left behind. Educational gender gaps across the US. This is looking at, this is coming from Brookings, and it's talking about the difference between college degrees in different states. The blue is female, the orange is male, and in every single state, where's it gone? In every single state, as you can see, women are doing better than boys. Boys are being left behind in terms of education. Relationships are breaking down. More and more people are not being in relationships, and women are achieving better than men in every level of education, from primary school to junior school to secondary school to university and colleges. Women are not overachieving, they're achieving better than males on every single level. If we look at the gender equality in education, we see the same results. We see subject imbalance, we see a different curriculums being chosen, but we see boys and girls are not achieving the same way. Boys are being left behind. In these statistics here, we can see that in the 1980s, girls on average are achieving better results than boys at school. In 2021, 5% more girls than boys received A-star grades at A level, and the UK are 35% more likely to apply to university. So girls are being achieving better in education, boys are falling behind, and no one seems to care. No one. When I look at Amazon Alexa, this thing sitting in front of me here, every single advert on there is promoting women. It's as I look at it now, it says inspirational quotes from women, and I ask myself, where's the inspirational quote from a man? And it's never there. Not once have I ever seen inspirational quote from a man, but I see inspirational quote from women every single day. If I look at a few more things, this is Paul Willis's classic book, Learning to Labour, How Working Class Kids Get Working Class Jobs. This is speaking about these poor kids growing up in a poor working estate in the UK, and they were trained to leave school, go to work themselves into the ground, and achieve little to nothing. And now boys are looking at this and saying, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to just go from secondary school to working down the mine, to working in the factory, to going down the pub on the weekends, and that's my entire life. I want something more. I want something better than that. And is there not that opportunity for boys and men anymore? It seems very trapped. If we look at suicide statistics, This is the Samaritans in the UK. They're talking about 5,200 suicides in 2021, and you can see the suicide rate is 3 times that of women. Overall suicide rate is 10.5, but it's 15.8 for men and 5.5 for women. So if you add those two and divide by 2, you get 10.5. But for males, it's 3 times as many people commit suicide, and yet everyone says women are having such a bad time of things. And I'm thinking, well, not if you're a guy and you know, this is your life, working in a factory and working in mines and being treated like some sort of wage slave, and then women are complaining about how hard done by they are, but men will kill themselves because it's so bad. Well, you might be saying, well, what about the gender wage gap? There's loads of issues about this. Women earn 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. So obviously this is women being hard done by. But this is coming from Time magazine. They're saying no matter how you analyse it, it's been refuted, it always comes back. The bottom line is 23% gender pay gap is simply the difference between the average earnings of all men and women working full time. It does not account for differences in occupations, positions, education, job tenure, or hours worked. When you factor those things in, the wage gap narrows to the point of vanishing. So we've got a situation where women are placed on pedestals and are told that they're eternally victims. Men are placed in a ditch and told that they're just scum to be used as labour. And Andrew Tate comes along and says, you're wasting your life. If you want something to actually happen and you want to make things work, then you've got to do it yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. And we have a real issue with the disconnect between men and women, with more and more women and men becoming single and not even talking to each other because of so many issues. I mean, as a man, if you go up to a girl in a pub or a bar and say, hi, can I buy you a drink? It's almost classed as assaults these days, and it's something they just want to avoid as much as possible. Marriage is dropping through the floor, and divorce is going through the roof. Boys are being left behind in education, and this whole thing is falling apart. And then Andrew Tate comes along and says, well, this is the Hustlers University, so if you want to learn how to be a man, shall I say, if you want to learn how to do things, if you want to learn how to work out how to do e-commerce, want to work out how to do Facebook ads, whether you want to learn how to do TikTok and brand concepts and resourcing and branding and such forth, there's a place where you can talk to other guys about being proactive, about being entrepreneurial, about putting your time and effort in, about making it happen. Then this is very attractive to a lot of guys who are looking to make things happen, and they don't want to sit in their bedrooms 24 hours a day playing Call of Duty or Fortnite. They want something to actually happen, and they know if they don't, this is what's going to happen to them. And if they don't, nothing is going to happen to them. They're just going to sit in their room forever, or they're going to be forced into some low-paid, low-wage job for the rest of their lives until they kill themselves, basically. And then Andrew Tate comes along and he says, you know, it doesn't have to be this way. You can go into making all sorts of things happen. You can start your own business, you can buy and sell, you can go online, you can drop ship, you can go into cryptocurrency. I wouldn't advise that if I were you. But there's a lot of things you can make happen. He's made it happen with what he knows sells, and what he knows sells is sex. Sex sells, and you can make a lot of money with girls on webcam models, like huge amounts of money, and you don't need to coerce and force and intimidate, because there's so many women who would like to do it and are already doing it for themselves anyway on OnlyFans. So you don't need to be walking around like some 1980s pimp with some crazy hat and a cane. Those days are long gone. These women want to join in. They don't because they see there's so much money to be made, and there really is. and it's pretty safe, to be honest, because it's online. You're not meeting clients in the real world. There's no chance of STDs or STIs. There's no chance of violence from the clients. You control when you can do it. You can control how you can do it. You control how much you get charged for it. So for women, it's a very attractive model for making a lot of money. And yeah, you don't need to be coercing and threatening people. But why is Andrew Tate being arrested? What is actually going on about this? That's the question. I mean, who is motivated to arrest him? What are the accusations? What are the charges? Is it real? Is it not real? She's very pretty. I don't know. But what I do know is...
I've yet to see some guy who... Have you ever seen a guy who eats right, trains his ass off, and never missed a gym session, ever not grow?
He's saying if you put the work in and you put the effort in, things happen. And that is true. And for a lot of guys, that's a very good message. Whether or not you want to believe in this stuff, or whether or not you want to go down his route or what he's done, the message he gives to men and boys is good. It is right. Go out, make it happen. Go out, try as hard as you can. Whatever you're doing, do it. Don't just sit there. So yeah, a very controversial concept, and one of my main problems I find, if I can come back to this, one of my main problems with The Guardian happens when you ask the left wing about all this stuff and you say, what about all these boys who are left behind? What about all these boys who aren't achieving anything in education, or they're not getting anywhere in employment? What if they can't get girlfriends and they can't get married? And what do you say about all this left wing? Well, they say to the Andrew Tate disciples who feel downtrodden by society, straight white men are still winning. That's their answer. It's basically F you. They take all of this, all of these issues, and just stick two fingers up. And that's the left wing. It's one of my main problems with the left wing. Their sneering, patronising, holier-than-thou, puritanical nature. This is what really annoys me about them. To all the Andrew Tate disciples who feel downtrodden by society, you can't get a job, you can't get a girlfriend, you can't do anything, you're being left behind in education, suck it up. Fuck you, Guardian. So yeah, that's my main issue with this whole thing. And then we come down to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The same situation. She was believed. She was absolutely believed by the whole of society, by every single mainstream media outlet. She was the angel, the floating goddess of truth and justice and light. And it took 6 years and millions of dollars and multiple courts and multiple lawyers and fighting tooth and nail and clawing out of a hole before some aspects of society might say, maybe she wasn't the perfect victim. Yeah. And those people read The Guardian. So, see, now I'm annoyed. I'm all annoyed now, because sometimes it is true, you know. I do think, to be honest, that there maybe was some stuff that is a bit questionable that was done. But it's still, the message is absolutely legitimate. Try very, very hard, make things happen, and it will happen. And if you don't try and you don't do anything, it won't happen. So if you want things to happen, make them happen, and don't read The Guardian. And let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you found anything interesting. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, because I know this is quite a controversial topic, and I fully expect everyone to shout at me and say, how dare you, oh my god, blah blah blah, this, that and the other. And I'm quite interested to know your thoughts. So yeah, and that's about it. Okay, I will see you guys later.